parents and welcome to the class presentation of grade 9. The theme of the presentation of grade 6 to 9 is four elements of nature: fire, earth, water and air. These being the very foundation of life. The heat of the sun, the earth beneath our feet, the air we breathe and the water we drink are essential to existence. They exist in a harmonious balance and this balance is necessary for us and the planet to stay alive. The elements that grade 9 will focus is on fire.
We are uniquely fire creatures on a uniquely fire planet. A quote by S.J. Pine. With this quote and introduction, we start our presentation with a dance by Diya on Agni. Her expressions and her movements all resonate the power of fire of Agni. That indeed was very graceful and yet very dramatic. Continuing with the spirit, we have a Hindi poem by Saksham.
कविता का विषय है अग्नि। आग का अपना पराया क्या, आग का अपना पराया क्या, तू भुवनों में व्याप्त निखिल देवों की ज्ञाता, यज्ञ अंश के भागी वे तू उनकी त्राता, निषिदिन बुद्धि कर्म की हवि दे भूरी कर नमन, आते हम तेरे समीप है अग्नि प्रतीक्षण, निज यज्ञों में मरणशील हम करते तेरी पूजा, उस अमर्त्य का जो सब के अंतर में गोपन, यदि मैं तू बन जाऊं शिखे ज्योति में, तो तेरे आशीष सत्य हो जीवन सुखमय। अग्नि के रूप निराले देखो, अग्नि के रूप निराले देखो, कहीं सीता की पवित्रता बनकर तो कहीं लंका दहन का कारण बनकर, राख बनकर रह न जाए घर हमारा, देश का नैतिक उत्थान पतन पर, आग का अपना पराया क्या, आग का अपना पराया क्या।
Fire has been an important part of the Earth system for 350 million years. Humans have evolved in this fiery world and are the only animals to have used and controlled fire. The interaction of mankind with fire is a complex one, with both positive and negative aspects. Humans have long used fire for heating, cooking, landscape management and agriculture, as well as for pyrotechnologies and in industrial processes over more recent centuries.
Fire has been on this planet since time immemorial, yet remember, it was not always there. According to Greek mythology, Prometheus stole fire from Zeus and gave it to the humans. Ever since then, scared fire were present at many Greek sanctuaries, including Olympia. Every 4 years, Zeus was honored at the Olympic Games by lighting a fire. The traditional continue and the modern Olympic fame is ignited near the Temple of Hera and the sacred site of ancient Olympia in Greece.
But this is mythology. Let us see what history says about the invention of fire.
The earliest evidence of humans using fire comes from many archaeological sites in East Africa. When lightning would strike a forest and create a fire, it probably intrigued and amazed them. They used pieces of flint stones banged together to create sparks. They rubbed two sticks together, generating enough heat to start a blaze. The earliest humans were terrified of fire just as animals were.
Let's move on in history and see how fire helped in industrialization and modernization of the world. The earliest railroad reinforced transportation pattern that had developed centuries before. During the Middle Ages, most heavy or bulky items were carried by water wherever possible. The Industrial Revolution began in England, spread throughout Europe and then North America. During the 18th and early 19th century, the ultimate goal of the Industrial Revolution was to rely less on human labor in manufacturing processes and to alter the industrial steps that used to be powered by man into another form that is powered by machine, which was an idea that occupied the minds of engineers and industrialists for many years before.
This dream came true at this time thanks to a number of engineering and inventions and discoveries. On top of these discoveries was the discovery of steam power and inventions and development of the steam engine. From mines to mills, steam engines found many uses in a variety of other industries. The introduction of steam engines improved productivity and technology and allowed the creation of smaller and better engines. After rigid Trevithick's development of the pressure engine, transport applications became possible, and steam engines found their way to boats, railways, farms, and road vehicles. Steam engines are an example of how changes brought by industrialization led to even more changes in other areas.
Hello and welcome News IHS. Today we have with us Mr. Somraj Ghosh, an economist who will today highlight upon how fire played an important role in industrialization.
Thank you, dear Harshita. So, I would like to talk about that. The economic development of 1800, so the development of agrarian and handicrafts industries all over. This soon came to be known as Industrial Revolution. Expansion of food output led to the increased use of machines in the industry. Now, the use of fuel further enhanced and railway with coal and steam engine ignited this expansion. The rugged nature of coal producing fire allowed locomotives to attribute many unique qualities. Fire fueling these ancient iron horses contributed in the goods transaction, giving a boom to the industries. So, coal fire heating led the engine to work more efficiently.
Thank you for letting us know that how the wilderness of fire, when tamed, helped in our expansion.
But is fire always good? The most common hazards in forest is forest fire. Forest fire are as old as forests themselves. They pose a threat not only to the forest wealth, but also to the entire region, to fauna and flora, seriously disturbing the biodiversity and ecology and environment of a region. During summer, when there is no rain for months, the forest becomes littered with dry leaves and twigs, which could burst into flames ignited by the slightest spark. The Himalayan forests, particularly Garhwal Himalayas, have been burning regularly during the last few summers, with colossal loss of vegetation cover of that region.
Forest fires cause imbalances in nature and endanger biodiversity by reducing faunal and floral wealth. Fires can happen anytime, anywhere. Forest fires occur only because of two reasons. It can be either natural or man-made. But whatever the reasons are, we have to have a plan to mitigate them. Let us look a little deeper into the ill effects of forest fires through a movie presented by Diya, Aryan, Saksham and Krisha.
Fire is one of the most destructive threats faced by a forest. Fire is a good servant but a bad master. Our earth is on fire. In last 3 months, 3 major forest fire has been reported across the India, affecting huge tracts of forest and raising large ecological concern. In the midst of severe heat waves and falling months of dry weather, recently Turkey has faced some of its worst wildfires in years.
The risk of forest fire remains in the future. These fires are just one piece of multi-climate feedback system, all of which are worsening, fueling more rapid climate change.
A report in Times of India said that forest fire alerts have increased across the country by 125% this year. Let us understand why we should be concerned for such an alarming increase.
The biggest effect wildfire has on wildlife is by altering the three things animals need most: food, water and shelter. Fire changes the proportion, arrangements and characteristics of habitats across the landscape. Tender understory plants and shrubs that provide food are lost temporarily. It takes 3 to 6 decades for a forest to recover.
Biota comprises all living organisms, bacteria, fungi, plants and animals that inhabit a given area. We have been encountering sad stories of many animals who die in the flames of wildfire, mostly the elderly and young animals who can't escape. Invertebrates and flying animals are especially vulnerable because they are attracted to fire and are in great number. Wildfire destroys diversity of flora and fauna, including wild endangered species, and cause massive destructional harm to ecosystem.
Forests burn, vast amount of stored carbon is emitted, resulting in emission of greenhouse gases. Global temperature increase and severe drought lead to more forest fire in many regions, which means that some forests that have become effective carbon sinks may become carbon sources. This can be further contribute to climate changes.
Wildfire smoke is full of gases and tiny particles from burning vegetation and building materials that can irritate your eyes, nasal passages, throat, lungs. They can also trigger an immune response leading to inflammation. All of this can lead to a coughing, difficulty breathing, a fast heartbeat, chest pain, and it can even trigger an asthma attack. Young children are one of the groups with the highest risk for difficulties with exposure to smoky air because their respiratory tracts are still developing and they breathe more air per pound of body weight than adults. Other high risk groups include the elderly and people with heart and lung diseases.
Catastrophic wildfire take a large economic toll on communities through property losses, decreased tourism, even changes in the long-term structure of the local economy.
During a fire, the temperature of a stream or a river can rise to lethal degrees. Wildfires can also change an aquatic animal's habitat for months and years. If trees that once provided shade burn down, that stream's water could heat up enough to make it unsuitable for cold water fish. Ash from burned plants typically makes its way into streams and rivers, causing algae bloom.
Large-scale wildfire dramatically alter the terrain and ground conditions. Normally, vegetation absorbs rainfall, reducing runoff. However, wildlife leave the ground charred, barren and unable to absorb water, creating conditions ripe for flash flooding and mud flow. They can even increase the potential for landslides.
Affect soil structure. Wildfire can influence a physiochemical property of soil including texture, bulk, density, pH, porosity, organic matter, nutrient availability and soil biota. Thus, affection, biogeochemical cycle, water filtration, resistance to diseases and pests are regulation of above ground biodiversity.
Plants are non-native species that often outcompete native plants for water, nutrients, and space. They can significantly impact the well-being of an entire ecosystem.
How forest fires start? All fires need a fire triangle, which may have natural causes and man-made causes. Natural causes including volcanic eruptions, spontaneous fires, underground coal fires, dry lightning storms, rockfall sparks. Man-made causes including cigarette stubs, campfires, bonfires, equipment-related fires, argon for land cleaning, global warming.
Forest fires are as old as forests themselves. Though their incidents have increased due to human activities, fire is a good servant but a bad master. Human inventions have made the scenario tough for the ecosystem. Wildfire clear dead plants, leaves and competing vegetation from the forest floor, so new plants can grow. They break down and return nutrients to the soil, remove weak or disease-ridden trees, leaving more space and nutrients for stronger trees. Some trees have fire-resistant bark and cones that require heat to open and release seeds for regeneration. So be wise and reduce the incidence of wildfires. It is unfortunate that fire can cause such a large-scale destruction, but it is good to know that forest fire also has some benefits. It might seem counterintuitive that a fire which burns plant life and endanger animals within an ecosystem could promote ecological health. But there is a natural phenomena and nature have involved with its presence. Many ecosystem benefits from periodic fire because they clear out dead organic material, and some plants and animal population require the benefits fire brings to survive and reproduce.
That really was interesting information. And let us now see it in data form presented by Naki and Hansika.
Wildfires increase air pollution in surrounding areas and can affect regional air quality. The effects of smoke from wildfires can range from eye and respiratory tract irritation to more serious disorders, including reduced lung functions, bronchitis, exacerbation of asthma and heart failure, and premature death. The effect wildfire has on wildfire habitat is by altering the three things animal needs the most: food, water, and shelter. Tender understory plants and shrubs that provide food are lost, and this loss often results in wildlife moving away to areas where food, water, and shelter are more readily available.
Wildfires, also called forest fires, bush fires, or vegetation fires, can be described as any uncontrolled and non-prescribed combustion or burning of plants in a natural setting such as a forest, grassland, or brushland, which consumes the natural fuels and spreads based on environmental conditions such as wind or topography. Many forest fires start from natural causes such as lightning, which set trees on fire.
To complete the topic of forest fire, we have a poem by Hanshika, Fire on the Hills, written by Robinson Jeffer.
The poem Fire Ferocious by Mark Raymond Slaughter. Fire, fire, ferocious fire, you restless wall of flame. Fire, fire, roaring higher, your fury to never tame. You show no mercy, no regard, a writhing army uncontrolled. At least you don't discriminate, selecting to exterminate. All dealt with equal pain untold. Fire, fire, ferocious fire, you restless wall of flame. Fire, fire, roaring higher, your fury to never tame. In time of drought you run amok, an open chimney of the land. Prefer to scorch then suffocate, in blinding zeal incinerate, to blackened vista now unmanned. Fire, fire, ferocious fire, you restless wall of flame. Fire, fire, roaring higher, your fury to never tame. Destruction be your only goal, for you to vent your jealous wrath on gentle life with caring soul and human victims to console. As you are none but psychopath, fire, fire, ferocious fire, you restless wall of flame. Fire, fire, roaring higher, your fury to never tame. So there it is, you are but flame, reacting gases to adorn. With orange flicks of flailing arms, you are flaunting your demonic charms. Now leave us for bereaved to mourn. Fire, fire, ferocious fire, you restless wall of flame. Fire, fire, roaring higher, your fury to never tame. So many lives to claim.
As we come to the end of our presentation, let us remember that fire is a chemical process that has the potential to be destructive and is also one of mankind's most life-changing discoveries. And taking a cue from the positivity of fire, a quote by Cormac McCarthy: "Keep a little fire burning, however small, however hidden."
As we end this presentation on fire, let us remember Lord Shiva. The cosmic dance of Shiva symbolizes the interplay of dynamic and static divine energy flow, containing the 5 principles of eternal energy: creation, preservation, destruction, illusion, and emancipation. Shiva dances in Rudra Tandav, or the dance of destruction, in an aura of fire, creating wild thunderstorms all around the universe, even shattering the sun, the moon, and the other stellar bodies. Let us never forget the power of fire, the destruction it can cause. Let us always be eternally grateful to the 4 elements of nature and give them their due respect. The Shiv Tandav Dance by Somraj.
सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धना मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृता जल प्रवाह पावितस्थले कलेवलम्ब्यलम्बितां भुजङ्गतुङ्गमालिकामट्टमट्टमट्टमन्निनादवट्टमर्वयं चकार चण्डताण्डवं तनोतु नः शिव शिवम् जटाकटाह सम्भ्रम भ्रम निलिम्ब निर्झरी विलोल वीचि वल्लरी विराजमान मूर्धनि धगद्धगद्धगज्ज्वलल्ललाटमट्ट पावके किशोर चन्द्रशेखरे रति प्रतिक्षणं मम।
For your time and your keen interest in our class presentation. Hope you all have enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed presenting it. I would like to take this moment to thank our dear principal, Neelu ma'am, for giving this opportunity to make this presentation. Through this, we have been able to showcase how we are taught concepts in school. Through text, role plays, making movies and presentation. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.